Hello and welcome to another episode of the Women Can Do Show. I am your host, Rochelle. I first of all want to wish you all a happy Women Can Do Wednesday. I hope that you are really pushing yourself to do something for yourself or to celebrate something that you already did. And just take that pause and breathe and give yourself a pat on the back, whether you deem it large or small, you did something. So celebrate yourself for that. So we are here with another episode, and I have a very special guest because today we are going to talk about women's mental health, the big picture. So that's our topic for today, women's mental health, the big picture. And we have with us the beautiful, amazing Dr. Keisha Downey. Welcome to the show, Keisha.
Hey, thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me. How are
Yes,
you
I am excited. So, just to give a brief introduction, Dr. Keisha is a licensed clinical psychologist and marriage and family therapist, celebrity therapist, widely recognized for her impactful work on VH1's Basketball Wives LA, Black Ink Crew Chicago, and couples therapy. Dr. Keisha holds a Master of Arts degree in marriage and family therapy and a doctorate in counseling psychology. So she is more than qualified to talk about this subject today.
Yes, yes, yes. Whatever you need, I'm here to try to give.
So, Dr. Keisha, outside of that, so you've worked, at the intersection of clinical psychology, family systems, and reality TV. Outside of those titles, who is Keisha?
Well, sometimes I forget. No, I'm just joking
Right.
because I work so much. Um,
Right.
you know, I'm just simply Keisha. I mean,
Yeah.
some call me a plain Jane, but it's just me. But I am can be silly, but I'm
Hmm.
grounded. I'm
Yeah.
grounded. I try to stay grounded in who I am, the woman that I am.
Yeah.
Some people, I try to be funny. I think I'm funny, but I am a mother and a grandmother, and being a grandmother, I think that's what comes to me first. Like being a
Oh
grandmother
yeah.
for soon to be 5-year-old, he is like the love of
Mm,
my life. Can't do
mm,
anything wrong, and so yeah. So I'm a grandmother, and I enjoy that space now, outside
yeah.
of work, outside of everything.
And I can attest to that because my grandson, everybody knows I call him Poo Poo. He's 10 now, so I got to stop calling him that. But he is my word. It's a new experience. It's something that I cannot describe. But yeah, that's my world now too.
Yes, yes. You just have one.
Yeah,
Me
yeah,
too. Me too. I'm like, ooh, okay.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
yeah, enough. Yeah. And then I'm a mother. My kids are adults. My son is 30 and my daughter is 27. So
okay,
just being there for them. And then I'm
yeah,
really heavily into my immediate family and just giving back when I can. But yeah, that's me
yeah,
outside of work. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
So, from your clinical experience, what mental health challenges are women facing today that is not really talked about, like, or that we're not bringing enough awareness to?
So I am going to start with postpartum.
Ooh,
Okay. And the reason why
it's
and I
so
pause
true.
because I've had a few patients, recently had kids and
Yeah,
just don't understand it and what's happening to
yeah,
their bodies. But
yeah,
1 out of 8 women suffer from postpartum depression.
yeah, yeah,
And again, a lot of women don't know what they're experiencing, and then their partners or family members don't know, which makes it that much more difficult, right, to
mm,
manage and handle. And
yeah,
just for people who don't know what that is, I mean, it's symptoms that feel like depression, like insomnia, loss of interest, sadness, not properly bonding with your child,
yeah,
irritability, and sometimes it gets severe enough to be psychosis in a sense,
mm,
And so when partners or family members don't understand it, it makes it harder on the person because they're like, get up, you're fine, or
Mhm.
what's wrong with you? And it's just, it can be a lot. So I feel like now women need to pay more attention to their symptoms and seek out help, assistance, educate themselves on it because it's a real thing. Think about that. One
Yeah.
out of eight women, one out
Oh
of
my
eight,
gosh.
a lot of
Yeah.
people. So, yeah.
And you're right, it's true because and again, like if they don't have that support that understands, um they'll even maybe start thinking like, okay, maybe this is nothing and not even get it checked. You know what I mean? Like not even acknowledge like, hey, this is a real thing and this is happening to me. But I'm glad you brought that up because it's not, I hadn't thought about that as
Mhm.
the ones that's not really talked about. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's common. And again, um,
Yeah.
and women, I mean, you have to take care of yourselves first and foremost, but what we don't want is for it to go unrecognized.
Right.
And like you said, later on, 2, 3 years, the things build up, which leads me to survival mode. Like we as women tend to be in survival mode a lot, and I don't feel like it's talked about enough,
Yeah.
right? We are selfless. We give so much of ourselves. We do
Yeah.
everything. Everybody depends on us to do everything, right? And so we lose sight sometimes of what we need to do for ourselves.
Mm.
And there's such a term, I don't know if you've heard of it or not. It's called allostatic load. And
No.
allostatic load is basically is wear and tear on the body and the brain. And
Mm.
so exposure to repeated stress over and over and over again can lead to allostatic overload, which can tend to lead to diseases. People, your mental is connected to the physical.
Oh
So we
yeah.
can't forget about that. Yeah. So a lot of people, again, don't know that. That's why it's super important for us to take care of ourselves, to make sure
Yeah.
you're compressing, to make sure you are, as my colleagues taught me a long time ago, Keisha, you have to be selfish sometimes.
Mm. Come
Time.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
I was always running to try to get to my next patient, wasn't taking my lunch,
Mhm.
wasn't taking breaks, and I'm watching my colleagues like they in there. It's past the hour, and they
Right.
haven't even moved away. They're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go at 102, 103. Go
Wow.
use the bathroom first, and
Yeah, yeah.
they help me. They help me understand that you cannot just be on all the time.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. And that leads to my next question. So of course, women, we have these societal expectations, of being strong, being selfless, right?
Yeah.
How does that affect or impact our well-being?
Well, I mean, it doesn't allow you space to be your true self, I feel like,
Mm,
when you're always on, we're masking things, we
yeah,
do so much of everything, but you're just not taking care of yourself, which again is not healthy, which can lead to just our physical tearing down and mentally, right?
yeah,
Mentally,
for sure. Yeah.
think about a person who you walk into a room and you're with a woman or a family member and they're just snappy for no reason,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
maybe years ago they were very happy. And it's like, what's changed? Well,
Yeah.
maybe because they're just always on, they haven't been taking care of themselves, they haven't dealt with past traumas or whatever the case may be, but it can just show up in those types of ways. So
Yeah, yeah. And I love how you pointed that out, how your mental affects your physical and like these things can turn into a sickness.
yeah.
And I always say this, like a lot of times when you don't know, when you're having these illnesses and the doctor can't pinpoint, or you don't, because you're thinking it's physical, you don't know what it is or what it's stemming from. A lot of times it, like you said, it is that that overload, that being on all the time, and what happens is, again, like you said, it starts to affect your physical health and
Yeah.
bring on sicknesses.
Yeah, yeah. And think of it too, like some people, and I don't know if you've come across this, they are, again, typical happy people, but
Hmm.
they've been taking on the weight of the world and they end up
Yeah,
having like panic attacks,
yeah, yeah.
like anxiety attacks. And, I feel like I can disclose this because I'm human, but, years ago, trying to be everything for everybody and
Mm,
being a single parent, living 3,000 miles away from my family, I was
Yeah.
always on the go because I worked 2, 3 jobs and was in
Yeah.
and doing the things, but I also wanted to show up for my kids. But I
Yeah.
was guilty of not eating, taking the time out to eat properly each day. So
Wow.
constantly going. So
Yeah.
one day I was driving and I'll never forget it. And I felt like my heart was was like doing something I had never experienced before.
Wow.
And I started to feel funny. So I called my mom because my mom is like everything for me and to me. So I
Yeah.
called her. She's like, you need to go to the emergency room. So when I got there and then they assessed for everything was fine. And they said, I think you were having an anxiety attack. Have you ever heard of
Mm.
that? And I was just like, yeah, couldn't be me or what have you. But
Oh yeah.
that's kind of how it happens, And so
Yeah.
then on, I was like, you know what, you got to take care of yourself, and so I do. So
Especially to even not, and that is like so many moms are guilty of that, like just being so busy and wrapped up into their day, being a wife and or mom or whatever,
yeah,
and not taking that time to eat. Like you'll hear so many women say, oh my gosh, did I eat today? Or I
mhm,
forgot to eat. Did I eat lunch? You know what I mean? Like how
yeah,
did, and you think to yourself, like, how did you forget to eat? But it happens.
it happens, and it happens very quickly, right?
Yeah.
The day flies by, and that's why we have to be intentional. We have to be
Yeah.
intentional. So
Yeah. So, what are some ways women unintentionally minimize or dismiss their own mental health needs?
that's a good question.
Unintentionally.
Unintentionally, I think about learned behaviors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
if you grew up in a household where you saw your, you know, parents or your mother just always on or always doing, I mean, I feel like unintentionally you can pick up those same behaviors, right?
Mm.
Um, and it just becomes who you are, as an adult. So I think
Yeah.
that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah. 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 And again, like you say, if you're in the household and if your mom is doing things this way,
Hmm.
to you that is the norm. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? If your mom is busy, she's making it happen, she's running the household, um to you, to the average girl, that's to her, she's gonna look like, okay, this is the norm. I'm supposed to be busy. I'm supposed to not take that break to eat. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because our parents are the first individuals that we learn from, right?
Yeah.
They set the stage for us. So if it comes off as it's the norm, why would we not do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we subconsciously don't even realize we're doing it,
Yeah.
as adults or in our current relationships, or oh, you act just like this person, or you act just like that person, or what have you. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like unintentionally those things kind of creep up, or they do show up in that way.
Yeah. So with you working, so like I mentioned earlier, you've worked with women in reality TV, women who are in the public eye. How do you see, with them being in the public eye, experiencing, of course, public scrutiny,
Yeah.
how does that affect their mental health? How does it affect differently for women versus, I'll say, versus men? How do you see it affecting women differently?
I mean, of course, because we're all wired differently.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on the individual person, but two, um, past experiences, past traumas. So if
Mhm.
I'm under the scrutiny of other people, the people that I'm on set with, or
Mhm.
the producers or whatever, putting pressure on me. If
Yeah.
in the past that feels familiar, that type of pressure that can trigger something within me and cause me to be insecure or have a meltdown or
Mm.
what have you. So again, I feel like it stems from just past experiences that have not been properly healed or addressed, if that makes sense.
I was gonna, while you were saying that, I was thinking this. It's something that's already there, but now it's like publicized. You know what I mean? Now it's kind of out there. Something that was probably being suppressed before. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Something
yeah.
that's already sitting in that
Mm.
bottle.
Yeah. And that is why, of course, therapy is a great thing for people to work on those past wounds because,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't want it to just come out unexpectedly. And oftentimes that's what it does. It hinders us or it causes dysfunction into other areas of our life. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how have okay, I'm going to ask you this. So your experience with that, have you ever had to, like, let's say after the show is over, like, be of that support for some of these women? You know what I mean? Like where it's like, okay, the cameras are off now.
Yeah.
Now it's back to my, because we know TV is TV, whatever.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Um, and so the cameras are off, and like you said, that thing was already there before you even went on camera.
Yeah. Hmm.
So how is that when the cameras go off?
So I feel like the best, some of those people are my patients still.
Okay, okay.
So that is
Well, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's
that helps to be able to come down and kind of sort
oh,
through it.
good.
Me seeing it, now I can
Mm,
take note of it and then we can talk
mm,
about it and address it in the therapy session. Because again, even though I'm on TV, I do want to make it clear like I work under my license.
right. Yeah.
I am practicing as a therapist. So it's because of, disclosures and,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
that I'm on the TV show or what have
Hmm.
you with them. But some of these are my patients. And so I'm
Yeah.
there after,
Oh,
during,
that's beautiful.
yeah, to help. Because again, it helps me see them in rare form and then I know how to best help them. So,
Mm. And I've always wondered that, because I watch reality TV, right? So
oh,
I've
yeah.
always wondered that, like, when they have these therapists on, I'm like, okay, what about after? Like, I've just always wondered that, like, wow, I wonder, are they continuing this after? Because even though, like I said, TV is TV,
Yeah.
that's a real experience. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It is. It is.
It's happening in real life for them.
Hmm.
And so again, like I said, I've always wondered that. Like, I wonder, does that continue? Like, what happens after?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, I feel like most of us in the reality realm, if you see a therapist on TV, they are practicing, right? They
Hmm.
are licensed or certified in some type of capacity to
Yeah.
be able to do that because the producers are seeking out
Right.
people to come
Yeah.
on board and give their expertise to help out as best as possible. So
Yeah.
again, I don't know the experiences past being on set, at least for me though, some of the people are my patients. And again, we
Good.
continue on. And so it really helps. It
Oh,
really,
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
So this leads to my next question. How with you, like, how does that affect you? Like, okay, you're on reality TV, right? Practicing what you do. Um, does that affect you in any way? You know what I mean? Like,
No. So I have been a practicing therapist for about 22 years now. And
yeah.
I've had some great trainers and mentors. And when I tell you that I don't take anything personal,
Okay.
I,
That was my point. Yeah.
I, it's not my stuff.
Yep.
It's not my stuff.
Yep.
Um, and it's that's just the way that it is. And
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, I would want the person to project onto me or
Yeah.
to take whatever out of me because that allows me to do the work with them in the present moment. So it's a beautiful thing to see. But to answer your question, I don't take anything personal. Now,
Yeah.
when I'm done though, I have to sit in silence. I mean, I'm human. I'm human.
Yeah.
So I have to take a moment. The people around me know I need about 45 minutes to an hour after work, after doing things to decompress. And it is literally sitting in silence for most of the time because it's a lot. It's a lot to hear
Well,
many voices going on,
yep.
all the time. So yeah.
That's why I asked, because, like I said, when they're of course, reality TV, of course, it's heightened, right?
Yes,
But
yes,
then you
yes,
got to go home. You know what I
yes,
mean? So uh, even though I like I asked, how is it with them? I like that's the same for you. You're
yes,
in it. You know what I
yes,
mean? You're in that situation, and it's heightened. So it's like, how do you get out? Actors say, and I've heard many actors say how they really have to get into a role
Yeah, yeah.
and getting out of it is a whole like it's not like you can just turn it off if that role is so deep, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Where it affects you, you have to really get
Yeah,
emotional, whatever.
yeah,
And I've heard many actors say that like it's a process to get out of that role. Like you got to take a step back and like, hey,
yeah,
get rid
yeah,
of this stuff, that you just took
yeah,
on.
yeah. And for me, I mean, it took a lot of training. I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time now.
Yeah.
But again, I just know it's not my stuff. And
Yep.
I've done a lot of work on myself too.
Mm.
So if you come at me,
Yep.
I'm, healed. I've worked through my
Yeah.
trauma,
Yeah.
worked
Yep.
through stuff. So it makes it's almost like this is my calling. That's the best way that I can,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, it's draining. Yes, it can
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
draining because I'm very sensitive. And
Naturally.
I'm
Hmm.
crying in the sessions with people. Like I
Hmm.
feel the feelings
Right. Yeah.
that I need to sit in silence just to kind of ground myself and transition into Keisha, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
afterward. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So how does the mental health stigma uniquely show up for Black women?
Um, that's a good question. You know, I don't know if this is going to answer your question, but I think a lot of women feel embarrassment,
Hmm.
feel weak,
Hmm.
feel like they would be letting people down, especially remember if growing up they saw their parents or mothers doing so much of everything.
Superwoman.
Also, some years ago, maybe not so much now, therapy was just not something that you would do, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
caused us to have to stay in survival mode, mask
Yeah.
it, fake it, or what have you.
Yeah.
We just kind of had to push through or power through things. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like that's the stereotype that kind of was there, but that's the stereotype. I mean, even when we talk about Black men too, it's just,
Hmm.
I'm not going to go talk to somebody who knows nothing about me. No,
Yeah.
no, no, not doing that. You can't tell me anything about myself. No.
Yeah.
So, and you don't know me? No. But so many people, though, I mean, all races, men, women, kids like that, even the younger generation, I want
Yeah.
to go to therapy, teenagers, mom, dad, I really want to talk to somebody. Like it's just
Wow.
different now. So it's a beautiful thing to
It
see. And
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you address the strong Black woman syndrome?
Ooh.
How do you, if you, I'm sure you've had to, because like, like
Yeah.
we just talked about, we grew up, where for me, it was like the Black women, my mom, my grandmothers, my aunts, these were strong Black women.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in my mind, I got to be a strong Black woman.
Yeah. 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 No,
But
totally.
again, sometimes that can be to our detriment,
Yes, yes, yes. For the strong Black woman, if they are coming to see me, the goal will be to peel back those layers,
Hmm.
help them get to the core or the default of that strong Black woman. You know what I mean? Like, so what does it look like to be vulnerable? What does it look
Mm.
like to take care of yourself? So, really
Mhm.
tapping into that space, making it a goal. Because again, a lot of women are everything to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
contributes to the strong Black woman. We even take on that role, right? We might even
Oh,
feel
yeah.
really good and empowered to
Like a
be.
badge of honor. Yeah. We
Yeah,
wear
yeah.
it.
However, as we talked about earlier, that allostatic load or overload and not taking care
Mm.
of yourself, that can creep up on you and can really be detrimental to you in the long run, physically, mentally, and physically. So
Yeah. Yeah. And then with that, that goes to my next question with Black women, like how do we release that guilt of rest? Like like you said, you're on all the time.
mhm.
So for a person that's on all the time, they really in their mind believe like if I'm sitting down, oh wait, I got to be doing something.
Yeah,
I should be like you've literally heard them women say that like wait it's something that I should be doing. It's
yeah,
like no you should be resting. And I'm
yeah,
gonna tell I have been guilty. I am so blessed that I am in a space and I'm not in that space anymore. But and I've shared this time and time again on this show how I took pride in multitasking. Like I wore that like a badge of honor. Like I am the multitasking
Yeah.
queen. And the older I got, it started to like drain me. And I didn't realize, you know what I mean, what was going on. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I would get really overwhelmed. So of
Mhm.
course you
Mhm.
get overwhelmed. That starts to affect your mental health,
Yep.
your physical health.
Yeah.
And then when I realized it was affecting my I'm like, wait a minute. I started like feeling like really tired. Like
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
a bucket of stuff on
Mhm.
me, right? And I'm like, why? Like my I go my annual physicals, I'm fine, I'm healthy, my numbers are fine. Like, why am I again going back to what I said about feeling a certain way and not realizing, not knowing what's wrong. Like
Right.
your
Right.
tests are coming back fine, but what's wrong with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, I experienced that and I'm like, okay, you know what? It's okay to just like really on a Saturday, like for Saturdays, that's my thing, unless my grandson's playing basketball season.
Mhm.
But after that, I'm resting. Like, and I don't feel guilty about it anymore. But I did. I used to be like, okay, I'm just sitting here doing nothing, feeling like nothing.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
really you've worked
Yeah.
all week, you've done all these things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 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 but it's understandable. When that happens and it happens often,
Yeah.
it's practice, right?
Hmm.
So if you're always on, and there's guilt associated with it, it's just practice, like
Hmm.
helping my patients get to a good routine for themselves and just trying to
Mm.
practice. There's a rule. What's the saying that it takes 30 days to create a new habit,
Yeah.
stick to it or what have you. But more importantly, in the therapy process, we have to understand, why do we even feel guilty, right?
Ah.
Where's that guilt coming from? Because maybe growing up, a person was made to feel guilty when they didn't do something, right? Or
Hmm.
there was disappointment attached to something that they didn't do. So
Hmm.
to me, for every behavior that we do, there's a purpose. There's a reason why we do what we do. And
Yeah.
so my job, or at least the role that I take on in my therapy space, is to help people understand who they are, why the way that they are, why they act the way that they do, like all of the things, and we connect the dots, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So,
No, no, that makes total sense. And
yeah.
again, and a lot of times too, it happens like with people who are high achievers.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like if like when you I and it I love how you said that it comes from somewhere like someone who was like a higher achiever as a kid in
Mhm,
school.
mhm.
And then they go into adulthood, like,
Yeah,
with almost running faster than the
mhm.
than
Yeah,
the race is going, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. And, a lot of that can, stem from, like, birth order, the
Mm,
eldest child, the
mhm.
middle child trying to keep up, but
Yeah,
again, when we don't take care of ourselves, I mean, that type of stuff, there's research that supports that you can end up with heart problems, heart
yeah,
attacks. Like, you have to take care of yourselves. Like, when I'm stressing how mental health is connected to your physical health, I don't know how much more to stress that. Like, you
yeah,
have to slow down and take care of ourselves. You got to get sleep. You got to eat properly. You just do. And if
yeah,
you don't know how to do it, then again, we try to just help individuals set up routines for themselves, attainable routines, right? Like, nothing
yeah,
far fetched, nothing out, like something that you cannot do, but something that just can be change little tidbits just to make it work, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah.
important to do. So,
And it's true, like, really, it's really, like, just these little adjustments. Like, that's what I did. I just made some adjustments. Like,
yeah,
it was not a major like, people think like, "Oh, I gotta change my whole life around." No, it's like, make some adjustments.
yeah,
Like, really, I had to really think about, you have 24 hours in a day.
yeah,
I had to start there. There are 24 hours in a day.
yeah,
Okay, you're working 8 hours.
yeah,
Okay, you got this all of this time left.
yeah,
So stop saying you don't have time because you gotta do this. I don't have time because I gotta do this.
yeah,
And so for me, that's where it started. And I love how you said that about creating that routine. And so
mhm.
that's what I had to do. I had to, in order to come out of that, I had to create a routine. And this has been, I want to say, maybe since 2020.
Oh, see?
And I'm still, you know what I mean? But like you said, you do that routine. I love how you said that. Do it for 30 days and it'll just become natural. But there are a lot of things that I remember that I started in 2020 that I still do today.
Yeah, yeah,
That's part of that has really like enhanced my life.
yeah, yeah. And I want to add too, like, again, if you truly know yourself, that's what you base it off of. So
Yep.
again, for me, I'll use me as an example. I am not a morning person. I'm just
Me
not.
either. Me either.
Just not. So my day does not start until like
Yeah.
7 o'clock. So, but
I
I'm a
don't feel
night owl.
so bad.
Yeah, but I'm a night owl. I'll be up to about 2, 3 in the morning, right?
Yep.
But I'm gonna base it off of that. If I got in therapy and the
Hmm.
therapist told me I need you to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock, I'm setting myself up to fail.
Yeah.
But I know enough about myself. So for
There
people
you
who
go.
go into therapy or who want to change, make the changes for themselves, you have to know yourself well enough to for this to work. And
Yeah.
that's based on your experiences. We don't
Yes.
know what people do not know what their needs are unless you understood your experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Set realistic goals.
realistic goals. Smart. What they said
Real.
the word was smart. Yeah, realistic goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Realistic.
yeah,
Realistic. That is so like you can't set the goal that the other person has.
yeah. Exactly.
That goal is not your goal. I know when a few years ago I was on this journey to get the COVID weight. That's what we labeled it as.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
that weight.
Oh,
And so I and so I did, right. And so people ask me like, "Oh, what is your, meal plan or what is this?" And so I'll just kind of throw out a few things, but I always I'm like, but you gotta, what works for you, like, because
there
like
you go.
you
There you
probably
go.
can't
Yeah.
have some things that I can't have because
Right.
you have this, you have high blood pressure, or you have some kind of, you know, ailment. I don't know. So you probably can't have that. So you got to kind of do what works for you.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Like so for example, my goddaughter is a wellness coach. And so she's the one who kind of got me back on, helped get me back on track.
Nice. Nice.
And so she started me on this detox. Not It's an infused water with cucumbers, strawberries, and mint leaves, right? Again, this was in 2020. I still drink that water like clockwork every
Nice.
morning, right? And so I remember telling my sister to try it. When she tried it, it made her, she felt sick.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean? So that's just an example how, okay, that didn't work for, it worked for me, but that didn't work for her. So she, had to just do the drink
Exactly.
regular water. But that's what I'm saying about, like, I love how you said that. You know yourself. So you got to do what works for you and be
Exactly.
realistic.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And it's based off of your experience, right? You don't know what you like. It's like
Mm-hmm.
maybe introducing babies to green vegetables or candy or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they experience it first, right? Just
Yeah.
like when a child touches a stove, we have to go through life, go through things to understand what it is that we need to truly understand yourself. So at
Yeah.
my age now, I'm like, okay, I know what I like, I know what I need, I know what I want, like all of the things, and I just kind of put it into a bubble for myself and it works for me. And so
Yeah.
whatever I do or most things that I do, I just try to give back in a
Yeah.
professional way, of course, with my patients. And again, it has to be catered to that individual person though. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, how do you help clients unlearn those survival behaviors? Sir, that once protected them, but now are holding them back. You know what I mean? Just like I gave you the example how I was like the multitasking queen, but eventually that was kind of to my detriment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so as I mentioned, we the way that my philosophy is that we are the way that we are because of our upbringing.
Hmm.
So we need to understand why we even participate in survival behaviors, right? Because usually, or I can say it's probably a defense mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a defense mechanism to help us or to help prevent us from feeling some pain or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, we have to like peel back those layers to understand the what's and the whys of that first.
Mm.
Once we truly understand why this person is in survival mode, why this person is on the, has used this as a defense mechanism. Because again, I do believe that survival behaviors, acting a certain kind of way, is a protective, just a way to protect yourself. Um,
Can you give an example, just for the viewers, an example of a survival behavior? Because somebody may have it and don't know it.
so when I think about survival behavior, what comes to mind is like emotional eating,
Wow.
or um, survival
That's a
mode.
number one.
Yeah. Right. Uh, like comfort. Like how do you comfort
Comfort.
yourself?
Mm,
Let me think. Survival mode. Someone who needs to be in control of everything. I think that's broad, but or someone who has to go and work out, and without working out, they feel like they kind of just can't even live life
mm-hmm.
or do something or what have you. So again, there's different examples, and I'm sure some will come to me. But
Yeah.
again, we do or participate in these behaviors because it protected us back then. So when you think about the emotional eater, and this is just an example.
And I'm not
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off,
No,
but
no,
the emotional eating, I did not think of that as a survival. I did not think that was going to be your answer. But
yeah,
that's why I said share an example,
yeah.
because we don't, sometimes we do these things and don't realize that, what type of behaviors that these are.
Hmm. Yeah. So when you think of that, imagine a little girl who grew up in a household and her parents were always fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And her mother would just tell her to go to the kitchen and get a snack and go to her room.
Mm.
So she hears the arguing, it makes her kind of anxious or whatever, but now she has the food tastes good, the food has become
Wow.
comfort, right? So then through life, or as she goes on, she's developed this way of protecting herself, her space. It gives her comfort. And so now it's a survival behavior for her. So that's a
Wow.
way of looking at it. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, yeah. Again, we spoke about survival mode, right?
Right. Right.
I'm talking about something different, survival
Yep.
behaviors, right? So I just want to make sure that I'm clear with that, right? The
Mm-hmm.
things that we do to protect ourselves from hurt, from disappointment, the things that may comfort us and it's hard for us to let go of it. Does it make
Mm.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Makes total
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
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 So I can see you like, ooh, what? No.
I'm telling you, I did not think emotional eating was
Yeah.
gonna be.
Yeah, I mean that's one. There's so many though. Like I'm trying to think of something that maybe I used to do, like survival behaviors. I know that
So
for
common.
right, right.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
yeah, I
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was trying to think of something like for me, like maybe some years ago, like even constantly being on the go. Like some people will constantly keep moving so they won't have to feel.
Mm,
So I'm going to use an example of I've had numerous patients who have lost loved ones,
mhm,
numerous patients. Um, and I remember one patient coming in to the therapy session. She lost her mother, and you could see the tears. You could see them. You could see the tears. She would not let them go. She wouldn't let them drop. I would try to, hey, I see. She wouldn't go.
wow,
She would change the subject, and she
wow,
would always just have to be on. She was in charge of getting the funeral services. She flew all the way out of town to get everything set up. She said, "I'm not taking any time off from work. I am going to, go right back into work next week." And when we dug deeper, she just didn't know how to sit in her feelings because it was too painful. She hadn't really dealt with the past traumas. And so this
yep,
just became her way of
yeah,
life, right? But as you know, that's detrimental
yeah,
because it's like a ticking time bomb in a sense, right?
mhm,
So again, another survival behavior. It's just how do you cope through life, right? How do
yeah.
you uh not dismiss, but how do you protect yourself from the discomfort? And I feel like that is those survival behaviors. So,
What's interesting that you mentioned that about that client, because I experienced that.
mm,
So My brother was murdered back in
Sorry. So sorry.
February 1998,
Okay.
right? The murder was never solved.
Oh wow.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so this is the month of the anniversary of it, right? So when it I was angry like for years, you know what I mean? For I was angry. And so I started going to therapy. Not for that, just because, right? So uh we were it was like I think my second session we were talking about my family life and how many siblings do you have? And I said, oh, it was seven, but now there's six. She's like, oh, what happened um to the one? And it's funny you mentioned about her tears. Like I felt my tears, but I wouldn't let them come out. And she's like, I see you're not ready to talk about it. I said no. And I didn't go back. I think it was like a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then when I went back, I didn't talk about that.
Mm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until I was writing um I was doing, my mentor has this workbook. I've talked about it on the show too. And I was writing uh in the workbook, there was this section on the heart work. And
Mhm.
so basically just writing you're holding in your heart.
Okay.
And I started writing it out, how I felt, my feelings surrounding it. And then I kind of just let it out. I kind
Mhm.
of, just like, but that's when you said that, I know what
Mhm. Mhm.
but that was me. I'll never forget it. I like shut down, but
Yeah.
I know, like I know she probably saw my tear trying to come, and I
Mhm.
felt it, but I wasn't letting it come.
Yeah.
Because I was so angry. My grief was anger. I
Yeah.
was sitting in that anger stage of grief for
Yeah.
years. Like I said, this was 1998,
Yeah.
and I want to say I just kind of started to process it and release some of it.
Ooh, good for you.
Maybe 2 years ago. Maybe
Never
two
too
years
late.
ago.
Never isn't
Yeah,
there. Never too late. Never too
yeah.
late at all. And again, I want to apologize to you for that because
Thank
that's
you. Yeah.
perfect for something to like
Yeah.
that to happen. Um,
Yeah.
you are dealing with it though now, and that's a really good thing. The
Yeah.
act of I'm just going to use the word denying your feelings is the survival behavior, right?
See, I didn't even know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the patient that I spoke on, her constantly doing everything so she won't feel is that survival behavior.
Mhm.
The child who grew up and eats the food is that survival behavior.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's the behavior itself that is protecting you from feeling the feelings, right?
Mm.
My hat goes off to you for doing it because it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And who has time for it, right? Who has
Yeah.
time? It's
Like for me, it was like, okay, keep moving.
yeah, yeah,
Keep, and again, I didn't tie that the whole multitasking thing, the whole
yeah, yeah.
taking all these things on was I didn't realize a couple of years ago that was part of that. I didn't make the connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. But see, that's why I told you to give examples of survival behavior, because we don't even know. We're
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
wow.
yeah, and there's so many. I just can't believe I can't think of it, but there's
Yeah.
so many, so many.
But
So
again, those are two very like common,
yeah,
especially the emotional eating, though that's very common.
yeah. And so how I do that is again, rapport building is very, very important in the therapy space, meaning
Okay.
that the therapeutic relationship really has to be there for us to see movement with our patients.
Okay.
If rapport is not there, it's like, why am I going to do anything for you?
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
if my patient likes me and they're comfortable with me, I provided them a non-judgmental space, they're going to open up and be more prone to, even if they're mad at me, they're going to let me know how they feel. So then hey, I see those tears. I can call things out and they're going to return. And so with that particular patient, it took a lot of work, but she didn't want to cry outside of the session, but we sure used those 50 minutes when she came in
Right.
for months to cry. So
Yeah.
that was, and I got a lot of those. All right, you don't have to do it outside of the session, but in here,
Right. And here,
you're going
yeah.
to release it, and it works. So it's
Yeah.
getting to the root, the underlying causes of the pain,
Yeah.
helping them understand, like I mentioned, why their survival behaviors are even there. Again,
Yeah.
when you know why you do what you do, that's half the battle is done. You can't just go solution focused and just go straight to it. I mean, I guess
Mm.
that's a theoretical approach, and I'm not knocking it. But again, that same issue may happen again. You got to
Yep.
know why you.
Get to the root of it.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. 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 So, how can women check in on themselves emotionally? Like just um in the middle of, every, I want to say daily. Like what's a way that you recommend, like, to do a check-in, not even just once a day, but just throughout the day?
So what I have my patients do is just a gratitude journal. I don't
Mm.
like to create or make things complicated.
Yep.
Like life is already complicated.
Yep.
Just something simple. Do it in the morning and do it in the night at nighttime.
Mm.
But I have my patients focus on the wins though.
Okay.
We If it is necessary to process something that was painful, that's fine. Because I want you to decompress, let it go. I'll give you an example. I see a lot of police officers and like surgeons, like people who are saving people's lives, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, they see a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had to come up with, things that they can do. So when they come home, they are now husbands or brothers or daughters or sons or whatever, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
there's a transition period. So
Yeah.
some of them, their ritual, they love to take showers. So the ritual was they would drive home, they might send their partner like, hey, I am feeling really bad right now. And then that alerts the partner, like, all right, I know what to do. I need to give him or her space. But the
Mhm.
ritual would be when they come in, they would go in the shower and they would take a shower, but they're washing all of the stuff that happened through the day off of their
Mm.
body. So
Yeah.
every inch, everything they're washing is like everything that happened that day, they're washing it off. They're cleansing
Wow.
it and just releasing it, right?
Yeah.
Once they get out of the shower, you had some dads who put on t-shirts that said dad time, husband time. So this was the ritual that they took part in.
Yeah.
And yes, we want to release the pain, the negatives of the day, but the gratitude journals is like we got to identify the wins though. It's
Yeah.
hard sometimes though to pull those out, but there's a win for the day. It could just be waking up for the day,
Yeah, for
getting
sure.
home safely, but that's the hard part. People have a
Yep.
hard time identifying the win. So I know that was long-winded, but to answer your question, having people write in gratitude journals, kind of get that going, and then releasing the not so good things of the day by coming up
Yeah.
with some type of ritual. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then learn to, like you said, identifying the wins. Like, for example, it, I do check. I have a task list every day. List, right? So again, back in the old me, if I didn't get everything done on that list that I had for the day, I'm beating myself up.
Mhm.
Now it's like, oh, okay, man, I got, let's say it's 5 things. I got 2 of them done, like fully completed 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I take that. I'm glad you mentioned that. And
Yep.
I take that, for me, that's a win. So I'm not beating myself up because, hey, you got something done. Like, and is the 3 that you didn't get done, is that really life ending? Like, is your tomorrow not gonna be successful because you didn't get that done? I
Yep.
had to change my mindset around that.
Yeah, yeah, which is hard. And it
Yeah.
sounds like that you have really created a good system for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
we're flawed and, things can always be improved, but I really
Yeah.
like how you are describing how you try to do things for the
Yeah.
betterment of yourself, right? And so
Yeah.
again, for women, I mean, even men, just it's really important just to take that time out. So again, to
Yeah.
answer or go back to your question, I just feel like being intentional. You have to be intentional about doing these things. You have to give yourself space to sit in those emotions, good and bad,
Yeah.
and then release it so you can move
Yeah.
to the next day.
Yeah.
So,
So what gives you hope when it comes to women's health and healing? And I you mentioned earlier about, back in the day, therapy, it was like, you're crazy if you're going to therapy.
mhm.
You know what I mean? That in
Yeah,
our community, that's what it was said.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, like you mentioned earlier, now you have kids, that are saying, "Hey, mom, dad, I want to talk to somebody." So what gives you hope when it comes to that?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you just said. I mean, so many people are so pro therapy. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing to see, and especially in our community.
Yeah.
Also, because I see the improvements in people, that warms my heart. Oh my goodness. When I
I
told you
can
I'm
imagine.
sensitive and I'm crying in the sessions with my patients,
Mhm.
so it's not always bad. It's just like when people have a breakthrough or when they come back to therapy and like, you know what, Dr. Downey, I realized something like mid sentence 3 days ago about what we talked about. And I mean,
Wow.
that's what gives me hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seeing the improvements, knowing that I'm making a difference in somebody's life and help
Yeah.
kind of overcome like some horrific traumas or just
Yeah.
challenges. I see it. I'm living it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing. So
So my last question. If every woman listening could walk away with one truth about her mental health, what would you want her to know?
ooh, you are not alone. Yeah, you are not alone.
Yeah.
Um, one truth about your mental health, you are not alone.
Yeah.
That circles back to so many of us are in that survival mode.
Mhm.
We are everything to everybody. And we mask it, we fake the funk and all of the things. And so I feel like it is important for women to know you are not alone.
Yeah.
You know, seek out help, talk to somebody, talk to a professional, preferably, because a lot
Yeah.
of your family members are going through or friends are going through their own stuff. But yeah, you're not alone. You're
Yeah.
not alone. And more importantly, just take care of yourself. Know your limits. Know your capacity. Take the time out to revisit your needs. Like I feel like life throws us curveballs and we go through so much. And so we have to go back and just reassess.
Mm.
Do I still like chocolate ice cream from 5 years ago? Well, now I'm older now, so I can't eat the same foods. But
Right.
but I think you understand what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you have to, and you actually spoke on this. Like I can't do some of the same things that I used to do in the past. You have to
Yep.
reassess just to make sure that you are living in your truth. So
Yeah. Yeah. And to point back to what you said earlier about making those adjustments,
yeah,
being okay with changing, evolving, like I feel like a lot of people are like afraid of change.
yeah,
Like, but like you said, it's all based on experiences. Like try it. You know what I mean? Try it and figure out what works for you. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I think that is so important.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the way the world is going now. I mean, there's a lot going on for us as therapists. I mean, we
Yeah.
have overload of patients and rightfully so, right? I mean, again,
Mhm.
everything going on in the world, but
Yeah.
everybody, whether you are a man, woman, I mean, this goes out to anyone, like you have to take care of yourself. Like
Yeah.
it's within your control, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much outside of our control, that we focus on.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, no, I could leave work, I can get in my car, I could sit in silence, I could check on my mom, I can call and see my grandson, I can
Mhm.
come home, make me some decent dinner, I can sit in gratitude, like all
Count
of
your
that
blessing.
is in my control, right? Because when
Yep.
I wake up tomorrow, I got to go back and do the same exact thing again and deal with the things that are not within my control. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I just did a show, a solo show. I do I'm starting to do it like once a month where I just pick a topic
Mhm.
and, just kind of talk about. So um it was called What's in Your Feed. This was last Wednesday. What's in your feed. And so it was like, how your social media feed, right? So let's say I gave an example of how this really happens. Like I said something about, oh, I need to go to Nordstrom and get these shoes that I saw. And so within an hour, everything Nordstrom is popping up in my social media feed,
Yep.
right? And
Mhm.
so I wanted to, touch on was how our thought, what we allow in our thoughts is going to, what we allow in our feed, not just our social media feed, but to even be fed into us, is going to affect our psyche. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to become your norm. Like if you notice, like if you follow certain people or on social media, follow certain pages,
Yeah.
all of it. And so let's say this is junk. That junk is going to show up in your
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah.
Like if you're, and I gave an example, like I started, I follow like a lot of, women, because my organization is women empowerment.
Hmm.
And I love gospel music.
Nice.
And so I follow like, motivational. So now in my feed, that's what's popping up. So I
Yeah.
gave an
Yeah.
example, like that is really a real thing. Like it that so now that pops up in your feed. So it's all about, like you said, the things you have control over.
Hmm.
You have control over that. You can control those are your controllables.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Well, I thank you so much. You shared some stuff that I had no idea about,
Good. Good.
which is why I wanted this episode. Is like it's needed.
Yeah.
It's so needed, and not just once. Like we need these conversations to happen regularly, just to bring awareness to women's mental health, and just not just awareness, but to encourage us, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And empower women, like it's okay, like we're all in this together. Like you said, I love your closing thought, you're not alone, because
Yeah.
again, a lot of people feel that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I am glad to have come on here and shared what I can. I love giving what I can. So
yeah,
if you need, I'm here to assist. So
yeah. You have really blessed us today. So I thank you again so much. And thank you for the work that you're doing.
thank
Because it is contributing to the world, okay? To
God.
to becoming a better world, a better
Yeah,
community. So thank you again for the work that you do. I think it is so purposeful. I think it is so needed. And I think that, what you're doing is a blessing to not just your clients, but to their families, to the people they're coming. You know what I mean? Because them becoming a better person is going to affect the people that they're around, that they're in
yeah.
connection with. So
Well, you are welcome. You are welcome.
yeah, yeah. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in to another episode of the Women Can Do show. My prayer, of course, always is that someone was informed, empowered, and transformed. God bless you all. Having a amazing rest of your week. And again, happy Black History Month. Celebrate yourself, like Dr. Keisha said. Focus on those little wins throughout the day. Count
Yes.
those wins. Count your blessings. All right. God
Yes.
bless you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.